welcome back to my YouTube channel. And of course, if you have not yet liked and subscribed, go ahead and do that. We're gonna get straight into it. Today's episode is about the fear of being vulnerable and opening up. So let me say first of all that as a West African woman, I'm half Ghanaian, we are taught in our African culture as Africans, and then as women as well, I'll speak from my perspective as a woman, to be tough, to be resilient, don't cry, just catch whatever life throws at you. I'm not saying this is specific to the African culture, but I'm just talking from my perspective and growing up as an African woman. And it's probably even tougher on the men. The men are definitely taught to be super resilient. You can't really show certain emotions. Crying is like a no-no. By the way, real men cry. Real men cry. Yes, they do. So yeah. So in my culture, I've experienced that. Maybe sometimes we have a disconnect when it comes to expressing ourselves in a certain way. For quite a while, I wasn't the best at expressing myself, or even really telling somebody that I love them. Maybe I can show you better than I can tell you by being affectionate or acts of service, or just making sure that I'm there for you when you need me to be. But expressing love, I come from a very loving family. I just don't know, maybe it was the environment I grew up in outside of the home. So anyway, it has been hard for me to be vulnerable. Being vulnerable opens you up to criticism, to judgment, to even somebody turning their back on you. And I do want to make it clear that any information you don't want out there, don't put out there. Just don't talk about it. But we are made to communicate. We were created to communicate and have healthy interactions. You can't keep everything to yourself, meaning you can't deal with frustrations day to day, day in, day out, and not think that a negative reaction is not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? But I do encourage us to guard our heart, guard our thoughts, and guard our minds. But there are ways we can open up without feeling as though we're being completely exposed. There are some people that are just open books and can just say whatever, whenever, to whoever. I'm not that kind of person. I'd like to think I'm quite discreet. There has to be a level of trust, and even that, I struggle with trust. But see, that's the thing. We're having this conversation right now. We can help each other. That's what it's all about. So I found that the right time, the right person helps to ease that discomfort of opening up. Sometimes you just don't want to, and that's okay. I think you really need to listen to yourself. Some people may want you to open up, but sometimes there's this voice in your heart or your head that's telling you, this isn't the right person. Listen, I'm telling you, please, please, please listen. Some people just want to dig around for information. Some people don't have anything better to do. Just make sure that you're careful of that. But there are going to be good people in your life, the right people in your life. I've had moments of complete vulnerability, and I've had a hysterical moment, and I've been laughed at. It was a little bit hurtful, it was painful, but at the end of the day, what can you do? I got it out of my system. Nobody was hurt in the process, so that's what counts at the end of the day. Being vulnerable and wanting to open up can be scary. We're human beings. We want interaction. We want to confide in somebody. We want to feel that we can express ourselves in a safe place. I'm not much of a crier. Is crier a word? It is today. I'm not much of a crier. I cry every once in a while, and it feels great. When I release those emotions and toxins, it feels great, but it's not my go-to. It's really not. Sometimes I just go back into my shell and deal with it. But now I've been able to maybe filter how much vulnerability I open myself up to. And I would definitely say I'm happy. I've definitely listened to that voice that has told me that's not the right person to talk to, or there's another way of dealing with this situation. And I pray as well. I pray. I really do. I encourage everybody to do that. That's my go-to. It's necessary, you know. Expressing yourself is not a sign of weakness, despite what you may have been told or taught in your culture. There are ways to express yourself. Not every form of expression is a healthy expression. Getting angry and smashing things and throwing things around the room, try and avoid that. There are other ways, you know, other methods, but make sure you deal with it. Anger is an emotion. Make sure you deal with it the right way. I wanted to see if anybody else had challenges with opening up, the fear of opening up. It's a real thing, you know. It really, really is. There have been times I've wanted to express myself to somebody, maybe in a relationship or a friend, and I just couldn't bring myself to it. And I think it was my intuition or being guided by God that this person is not the right person to talk to. I'm telling you, it's so important to make sure that you just survey the area, meaning you know who you're dealing with, you know who you're talking to. Safety is important. We all want to feel safe. Man, woman, child. Is very important. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. And if you have not already, please follow me on social media at Melissa Aouad GH. That is on Instagram and Twitter. Until next time. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. And then also, if you haven't followed me on my social media already, it is Melissa Aouad GH on Instagram and Melissa Aouad GH on Twitter. I'll see you next time for another episode of Life in a Nutshell. Be blessed.